I've come to think that the slogan of our society is I'm right, and if I'm not right, I'm still right because I have the right to be right. We saw something fascinating happen this week in the Trump administration as RFK Jr., on a couple of occasions, with Trump in full agreement with him, explained Trump's alternate way of calculating percentages. That he said there's two ways of doing it. And he explained that if you have a drug that is $600 and it drops to $10, that's a 600% drop. He later explained that if it's $600 and drops to $100, that's a 600% drop in the way Trump calculates percentages. Now, of course, people who are opposed to President Trump have jumped all over this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not here to discuss the president or make political statements. It's just an illustration, a very prominent illustration of something we see in society on a broader scale. Trump is not the only one to decide that the way I'm doing it is right, even if people say it's wrong, even if math says it's wrong. I can do it this way anyway. He's not the only one to carry that perspective. And I think there's a reason why. In fact, I think there's a couple of them that gets us to a deeper understanding because a lot of people are saying, how did we get here? How did we get to a place where math is not math, that we are having alternative math? I think there's a reason behind it, and it affects all of us. And we all, to some extent, may be playing a role in it. There are a couple of things that have happened in recent years and decades that have greatly affected who we are as human beings in our society. One is, it seems to me we do not have belief systems anymore. Instead, we have identities. Our belief systems have grown into the identity of who we are. Now, a belief is something that implies you've looked at things, you've been taught things, and you've come to understand the world in a certain way. We have political beliefs, we have religious beliefs, we have understandings of how family should work and so forth. And these are our belief systems. But we've gone beyond that because beliefs can change. We can continue to learn and grow and research and develop and mature and make course corrections based on new information. We come to deeper, higher, more profound beliefs based on deeper, higher, more profound information. But we don't do that. That's a rare quality nowadays because we don't just have beliefs, we have identities. It is who we are. Our political affiliation is who we are. Our religious affiliation is who we are. What family we grew up in is who we are as a person, and you don't just change that. You don't just say, oh, well, based on this new information, I think I'll change my mind and have a different political, religious, or family understanding. That's not the way things work. When it's our identity, it doesn't change so easily. If it's a belief system, we can say, okay, based on this new information, I can make a course correction. I can kind of change my mind because I came to an understanding with the information I had, and based on this new information, I can have new understandings. As Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better. But when it's your identity, it's not a matter of doing better. It's a matter of being who you are, staying true to yourself. And so we do not admit we are wrong because our political beliefs, our religious beliefs, our beliefs in what family and community are supposed to be are not just beliefs. They are who we are. They are our identity. Another thing that's happened at the same time is the world is changing so rapidly and in such profound ways. Life was simpler 100 years ago. We knew where our food was coming from. We may have grown it ourselves. And if we didn't, we probably knew the farmer in our community that did. And we bought it at the local market from someone we went to school with. Now, we can't pronounce most of the things we eat. And that's just scratching the surface. We're making new scientific discoveries all the time that we don't understand. We have things like quantum physics that even quantum physicists struggle to understand. We have things like the global economy, where our prices at our local market are affected by everything from the war in Iran to the weather in Singapore. And there are global forces that push markets here and there, and we don't understand them if we're just the average person. Those things are probably beyond our comprehension, at least on a detailed level. And so when things are changing so rapidly, things are so far beyond our control and beyond our understanding, we want something solid. We want something grounded. We want something we can believe in that is not going to change tomorrow. And our leaders understand that. They understand, and they are under tremendous pressure from society. Do not admit a mistake. Do not change your mind. Do not say, I grew into a new understanding. That just makes you seem like you're flip-flopping. That makes you look weak. And that is the dirtiest word in politics or religion or family, for that matter, for many people. We can't look weak. We can't look like we're flip-flopping. We have to be solid if we are a leader. And so we have to stay true to what we said. And even if we find out what we said was wrong, well, we were taken out of context, or it was misconstrued, or that's not really what I said, or we spin it somehow that we were still right because we're right because we have the right to be right. And it affects everything from politics to religion to how we deal with our family, because many people, because of the way we are in our society now, even if you're in a fight with your spouse and they present you with evidence of how wrong you are, many people will still say, I have the right to think the way I think. It doesn't matter what kind of evidence you're throwing at me. I have the right to think the way I think. And they will stand on what they say, even if they know darn well it's wrong. We want something solid. We want things that are not changing all the time. We want things that are understandable. And our leaders are more than happy to give us that. They put out policy statements, they put out statements of all kinds, and they stand to them. And if there's contrary evidence, well, this is what I believe. This is what I know. This is what I stand for. And I think in a world where beliefs have become identity, and there is such a deep desire to have something solid, something that we can hold on to that's not going to change, we are pushing our leaders to say, okay, well, if you think I was wrong in what I said, it's just because I said it a different way. I calculated a different way than some people do, but I still was right. This is the world we're living in now, that I'm right, I'm right. If you think I'm wrong, I'm still right because I have the right to be right. And I have to say, that's not a healthy place to be. We are human. We make mistakes. We don't understand everything, but we can understand more. We can grow, we can learn, we can develop, we can make course corrections, we can do better, but we have to be willing to learn, we have to be willing to grow, and we have to be willing to admit, at that particular point, that's what I thought, but I was wrong. That's the way I said it, that's what I thought was true, that's the way I believed, but I didn't have all the information then. I didn't have a full understanding. Now I've grown, I've developed, I've learned, and I think on a higher level, a deeper level. I understand better. That is a healthy place for human beings to be. We can grow and advance as people, as families, as society, but we have to be willing to. We cannot get dug into the place that we are so right that even if we're wrong, we're still right. It's just a different version of right. If we want to be decent human beings that grow, develop, and learn, we have to be willing to be wrong, to admit that we need to make a course correction and do better as we go. And that's not a bad thing. That's not weakness. That is being a healthy human being. And that's today's insight.